Arjuna, is there any way you can put that one on one? Yeah. Is it next to you? Yeah. That's, that's not it. Okay, then, let's see. No, I think we should keep them on one, or we're going to be live, so.
I'm not sure I can get this working. Let me take this out.
Oh, Saraswati, something we didn't talk about are the fans and the air conditioning. So before Satri is being mic'd up. In the mornings, we do run the fans because it gets very stuffy in here. We'll come in and open all the windows and the doors, but it does get stuffy. So the fans will be on. So bring a shawl to cover yourself with. There are parts of the room where it's not as, it'll be, if you really are bothered by the air movement, then you're going to want to sit in the far back. And then as it gets hotter, the air conditioners will go on. And we may or may not use fans with air conditioners. It just depends on how well the air moves in this room. It's your turn.
My turn.
Your turn.
So welcome each and every one of you. All right. We're going to rock the world. Namaste. So my voice is a little hoarse because I've been in samadhi the last 4 days while I'm in jet lag. So my system is going through quite a transition this time. And I feel it's because a shift has occurred in this work, and I haven't yet fully been able to language it, articulate it, but I do believe that this work we're doing here in India, in these sessions, is going to have a direct effect on the collective consciousness. There's just no doubt. And it's, I think, all at the core of all of us. We share the same willingness to serve a purpose greater than us, to be useful, and that this is the opportunity to prepare yourself, to take yourself to the next place, the next level, so that that can happen, that that can be made real, that you can bring it home and live it, that it's not an abstraction. It's no longer an abstraction. This is now already happening for many of you, already. Half of you are in a program, the Global Training Program, which is about how to organize yourself in such a way that you can bring what is coming to you and has come to you to others who are able to also be aligned with this evolutionary purpose during this time of transition. So this is the shift that I feel. And in this context, we have created, this is a maturation, 22 years, January 4th. And in this 22 years, I went through a process and then the manifestation of the completion of that process. And that has brought me and us, you, here with an opportunity to take this further. So let's bring it here, India. I spent 6 years of my life down the road. I lived for nothing else. I came to India, never been to India before. I gave up all that I knew, totally aligned with what was coming, not knowing its nature, not knowing the challenge or the difficulties, but knowing the sacredness of the impulse that had awakened in me, and that it's irrevocable, and it's been irrevocable ever since. I didn't know that back then. I didn't know that even at the end of the 6 years when I went to California to start a program of my own. I didn't know that even when I was creating, Satyamai and I were creating a whole structure, which is supporting all of you in being here, the million pieces that were required for you to show up so you could have a seat in this room. The fortuitous circumstances of your life, the alignment of forces that could have you physically be here, the resources, the time, the planning, the pushing through the detail, the organizing of yourself. Something in you did that. It did that because it knows its purpose. And it has you be here so that that purpose can be fulfilled in you. Because it makes no difference if you don't get this. So the thing I want to speak to is the sacredness of India, the sacredness of this opportunity, and the sacredness that you are, that each of us are. We're here for worship. We're here to worship the possibility of divine manifestation in yourselves, in each other, and in the collective consciousness. This is our worship. And worship is a sacrificing. It's a giving up. It's a letting go. It's a going beyond what it is you've known so that something you do not yet know can manifest. So I want to talk about the specifics of this program because it's a maturation. There is an articulate structure that we've been repeating in every SOT weekend, in every 6-day, in every intensive. It's a certain kind of organization of our consciousness together to arrange the time, the place, the circumstances, so that it is the structure, the guidelines, so that we can weave a vessel to create a cauldron, a thing to hold these 30 or so days we're going to share with each other. I know there's other organizations and structures that you've all been exposed to. This may or may not be compatible with that. You may not enjoy this. This isn't about enjoyment or happiness if you haven't caught on. But it is always going to be purposeful. It's not about effort. It's not about you being worthy or good enough. It actually doesn't require you to do as much as to be. To be willing, to be here now, to be in touch with that eternal presence, that silence and stillness, that steady central part of yourself that will always be with you, has always been with you, will always be with you. So I made some notes. We don't have written guidelines, but I created written guidelines. While you guys are going through all the menagerie of detail associated. So we have current programs going on here. half of you approximately had really just come to be in India, to be with me and this program. And the other half of you come for that and to be engaged in an application of a structure of science, you could say, an applied science, of how to be with others so that the greater truth can manifest. And in the process, develop your capacity to be a channel and instrument for that greater truth. So that's also going to be going on, as well as parties at Sparta, and all the things that our social event manager comes up with.
Why are they all looking at me?
God, I wouldn't know. I mean, talk about contrast. But it's perfect, because it's in these paradoxes, it's in these contrasts, it's in the boundaries that we come to a greater capacity to be in the paradox of what it means to be a divine human being. So we're not backing away from the world, we're not backing away from enjoyment, but we're finding a way to discern the purpose of all of this as a means of coming into existence more and more truly, more and more wholly, not just in fullness, but also in the sacredness. So the nature of this work, this new Dharma, these programs, have these components: education, getting right information, training. That's what the programs all are. They're trainings where you train your consciousness to be in new ways in your relationship with existence. Transmission, the byproduct of this Sat force that comes through, this Satchitananda. And then the transformation and the process of learning how to collaborate with the transformation. And then the application, learning how to bring it into your life, learning how to take it from here to home. But while you're here, this is 30 days, this will be your home. That you'll have every day to apply the science of what's coming, of all these factors, with your relationship with each other, with your roommate, with the person you really don't want to be with, with the circumstances that didn't go your way, to just this all-pervading irritation that's just this side of violence. And a menagerie of other possible structures that may arise as being part of the human species. So you're here for relationship. I mean, all of this is about relationship. It's about coming into the right relationship with yourself, right relationship with another, right relationship with others, right relationship with the world, right relationship with the circumstances that you find yourself in, right relationship with the truth that you are, right relationship to the divinity that the truth that you are is. And then, so it's about relationship with yourself, with each other, with the radiant presence of Arunachala, by the way. No small factor in why India is still my favorite place to come. There is a built-in cultural structure that is unique, and that whatever happens in programs in other parts of the world, it can't compare to what can happen here. This has an ancient 5,000-year-old momentum for spiritual manifestation. It's all about you. It's in the sadhus, it's in the temples, it's in the chaos and the cacophony of walking down the street. It's in the chanting in the early morning hours. And they no longer broadcast six of them at the same time at 5 in the morning like they used to. They have less dogs yelling and attacking you than they used to. It has become much more relatively civilized, but it is still, unfortunately, still the manifestation of this organic, basic truth that we as human beings were born in our origin from. That we came from this natural relationship with nature, with life, with existence, out of the necessity of the survival and finding a sustainable relationship with that. This was our basis, our grounding. And in the Western world, we're so far removed, so much concrete, so many streetlights, so many layers of buildings prevent us from access this primal, fundamental link we have with the organic quality of nature and existence. That's all around us here still. Especially when you get out of the main, spiritual tourism scene. With myself, with the force that comes through me, a relationship with what is Satri and who is Satri. Both are there. And those who are assisting me in manifestation. And now this is an important group that's emerging. What I'm seeing is bright lights growing brighter. Capable beings becoming more capable. They're partners. They've joined in this joyous labor to be useful, to learn how to be more useful. And here you will have your opportunity. Those of you who have just come to be in India, you're going to have a little piece of seva, which will be remarkable opportunities. You'll be surprised with how much shit comes up. Washing the rooms in the meditation hall or setting up for the public talks. Or taking care of the house you're in. Seva, that means doing something for nothing. We Westerners really need to learn how to do stuff for nothing. Just to give away, to serve. So the intent here has almost entirely to do with you. It is you. It is my teachings. It is my realization. It's my direct experience. It is validated in the Bhagavad Gita that you are the Supreme Being. So what are you doing fucking around being a miserable, complaining, dissatisfied, fearful, anxious creature? So this structure of truth, our eternal nature, derives an authority that gives us our sense of self. It is tremendously powerful. It is tremendously effective when it wakes up to itself. In terms of manifesting the opportunities of the unfolding possibility of mankind. So discovering this within you, to whatever extent you can during these 30 days, learning to find that place or that quality of your being, that is really the one that has been shaping how life shows up for you all along. It is your perceiver. It's your perspective. It's your point of view. It's the experiencer of your life. It's the seer and the witnesser of your life. So we're here to shift, purify, clarify, and strengthen you as that essential, true authority. And empower it to start dismantling that in you that's not that. By actually coming to presence with stuff, content, with yourself as the start point for shifting the reality of how life is showing up about you. Shifting your ability to create new realities for yourself. And how to do that? I invite you to let go of all your stories, your opinions, your competition, your comparisons, your judgments. Let go of them. Just let them go. Just pretend you don't know jack shit. And just be there. Be not knowing. You'll notice the part of you comes up with its reaction and its opinion and its judgment and its projection and its comparison and its negative story and its diminishment, and then you stop. You stop and say, oh, look at me do that. And every time you do that, you recover a bit of that true authority that you are. And you empower that part of you that can change what you thought you would never be able to change in yourself and in the world about you. So surrender. Just forget everything that has happened up until today. And worry not about whatever may happen when this program is over. And just be here as if this is your life. There is no other life but this life. And be here new. Keep choosing to be here new. To refresh this moment as an opportunity to come into existence newly. All right, see, that's a guideline. See how you do with that. We got to speak this. Even if it actual practice is going to take you years to really become effective, we need to keep pointing to the fact that you're in charge of how your life is showing up. And you have the capacity to change your relationship with existence. All right, the opportunity. The opportunity is to honor the opportunity. What is an opportunity? It's a space. It's an opening up of a possibility. A possibility that obviously has not yet manifest. We're articulating the nature of that possibility, the nature of that opportunity. And what do we do with that possibility? We speak to it. That's the first action to take. Remember that this is an opportunity that is unique in comparison to the rest of your life. You will keep remembering that this is an opportunity to come into relationship with yourself and existence in a way you haven't been able to up to now. To uncover the things that separate you from that divine reality that you are. And also to be able to move into a greater and deeper and more profound relationship with that divine reality that you already are. Pay attention. Pay attention to what shows up. Now, that part of you that can pay attention carries with it that essential purpose that brought you here. It is also a reflection of that authority that was able to get you here. So when you pay attention, you can begin to notice things in this space, in this energy field, in this context with other people, in a way that you would not have been able to notice before. You're going to catch your ego in the act. You're going to have more authority over the structures that were able to slither through and take you over without you knowing it. You're going to come to a greater recognition of a shifting that's occurring in you that's having you come from one mood into another mood. So, I have two books, the Bhagavad Gita and the Mother Book. I invite those of you who are here to write a chapter of one or the other of these books while you're here, each day. Now, some of you are going to be too busy to do that every day, but you look to strive to take one book or the other. You can open it up at random and just write the chapter. Why write? Because it brings it into your body. Because it forces you to move into a relationship with the material more bodily. And it also evokes the force into you in particular ways when you write it. It's also good to journal, to spend a moment out of each day or after the meditation and note what happened. Because this is going to be 30 days. I know how a 9-day is. I know how a 6-day. You're going to lose track of everything. The only way you're going to be able to keep a record of what is happening that's factual is if you record it. Take it out of your mind, take it out of your body. So note the things that happen and periodically go back and read what you wrote. It'll give you some evidence. It'll accumulate some data that will give you a perception on what's happening for you that wouldn't otherwise be available. Be simple. Be silent. Be still. Simple. Silent. Still. Find that simple, silent, still. No problems. No worries. You don't have to do this right. You don't have to do it better than anybody else. You can't do this wrong. As long as your intent is to have everything that arises be an opportunity for this to manifest. Doing it wrong will be helpful. But do show up. Show up at the meditations. Show up at the program. Show up at your seva. If for some reason you can't or believe you can't communicate, be in responsibility. And then be where you are. An empty mind, an open heart, a relaxed body. Empty mind, open heart, relaxed body. If that's happening, you're there, you're on track. The rest will show itself. It'll reveal itself to you. As long as you stay aligned with your purpose for being here. As long as you stay in the remembrance of the sacredness of this opportunity. Okay, so I'm going to be listening to what happens to you as we go through these 30 days. In your small groups, they'll record it, and I'll keep track of how you're doing. You'll have a facilitator who will be managing each group, and then you probably know the structure. And then with regards to mentoring, what's the structure for mentoring? It's within the group. That you'll be able to have someone to work with, and that meeting will be recorded. So I'm going to be tracking all of you. I don't need to track you down to the detail. I'm tracking you right now. I was tracking you when you're all gathering here. I was tracking, I was feeling each one of you as you came and you accumulated. I saw the whole quantum of you coming. So I have the quantum of all of you already here, but the detail of it, I'm interested. Why am I interested? Because you're the Supreme Being. I want to see how it's going to come out of you. I'm like a farmer, planted the seed. The shoot has come up. I want to see how it's doing because I'm interested in the harvest. And I'm going to inject some Miracle Grow. I'm going to inject some kick in the butt. I'm going to inject some energy into the process so that we can take advantage of this opportunity together. So if I see things, I'll tell the trainer, I'll tell the facilitator, or I'll tell you. Because you'll have an opportunity to come up periodically. And in the public talks, we'll see how many people show up. There's strays that come into the public talks. We'll give the strays a chance to ask questions and do that thing, but it'll also be an opportunity for you to come forward and bring forward your questions and interact with me. Okay, so I think that is really, you've had a lot of bombardment. How many are in jet lag? Raise your hands. Whee, yeah, right. And Auntie just woke up enough to say I'm in jet lag, yes.
You could be next.
So you just, so we're going to just take the last part of this evening and just sit in silence and stillness. Tomorrow morning we'll sit for our hour and a half, starting at 6. So I'll see you all here, be here prompt. And so let's set it up so we can do a silent sitting. Okay, yeah.
I think it's over by you. Oh, I wouldn't turn the,
Don't turn off the
don't
fans.
turn the fans off, you guys.
Or you can turn the fans off if you turn on the air conditioner. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, let's get our.
So be aware of yourself sitting in your chair. Become aware of what's going on in your body. Pay attention to your breath. It's good to breathe. Just notice what's going on in your system. Okay, let us begin. Whoop. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat Shri. All glory to the Supreme. May truth manifest. Namaste. Good night.